Hello, I'm Brian Mckeon, partner at the JMB FLP. Today we'll be reviewing the following shows: Fast Money, Mad Money, and Options Action for the week of March 30th to April 3rd, 2009. Now, remember, this is merely a review of the following shows: Fast Money, Mad Money, and Options Action, and only looks at the upside plays from these shows, not the underlying options used in these calls. And ETFs may be used in place of indexes and commodities. Now, what we merely do is get an average analyst ranking through these three websites. Now, first we look at Fast Money's very own Guy Adami. Now, of all of his upside plays, he had Oracle, Abbott, and AT&T make it into the buy camp this week. Also, all of his upside plays, you can see these are the ones that made it into the hold and sell camp based on those websites that we talked about. As for Karen Feinerman, she had FLS, Gilead, and TBT make it into the buy camp with moderate buys. And of course, here's the things that rate a hold and a sell by those websites as well. There was also Brad Hentz. Of all of his upside plays for the way, none of them made it into the buy camp. Also, JJ Cohen was on the show, and none of his things made it into the buy camp this week. And he also had FAA, which has no analyst ranking at this time. Jeff Mackey was on the show, and he had Gilead and Potash come in as moderate buys. And here's a look at the rest of his picks for the week as well. As for John Najarian, none of his plays made it into the buy camp this week. As for his brother Pete, he had MYL come in as a strong buy. Then he had TRA, Teva, Akamai, and IBM come in as moderate buys as well. And here's a look at everything he picked to move to the upside this week that made a hold by those websites, and everything he chose to move higher that rated a sell by those websites we discussed earlier. Now on to Tim Seymour. He had Teva and TS, which come in as moderate buys. And here's a look at everything he has that comes in as a hold and sells as well. Now for Joe Terranova, he had Chevron, Exxon, ConocoPhillips, Agriculture, FLS, and IBM come in as moderate buys for the week. And here's a look at all his plays he chose to move to the upside that rated a hold and a sell. You can also see that JGAC has no analyst coverage at this time. Now, there are also some special guest appearances from Tom Gardner and Dennis Gartman. Now, you can see that none of their plays made it into the buy camp this week. And you can also see that Dennis Gartman had JJU, which has no analyst coverage at this time. Also, Mike Huckman and Joe Lavorgna were on the shows, and you can see none of their plays made it into the buy camp this week. There are also special guest appearances from Chris Maseko and Rebecca Patterson, and you can see none of their plays made it into the buy camp this week. As for John Rowe, he had DBA, which is agriculture, make it into the buy camp. And as for Carter Worth, none of his things made it into the buy camp. Now on to the show Mad Money with Jim Cramer. Of all of Cramer's upside plays for the week, he had McDonald's, Oracle, KBR, J&J, and Pepsi make it into the buy camp with ratings of moderate buy. Also, Cramer had quite a few things that made it into the hold camp, and some that made it into the sell camp as well this week. Now on to the show Options Action. Now you can see that they all picked FCX, which rates a hold by those websites. And Stacy Gilbert came out with ESRX, which made it into the buy camp this week. So, in review, the strong buys are MYL, and the moderate buys are here for you as well. So again, I'd like to remind you that all analyst recommendations are as of April 3rd, 2009. And I am not a licensed investment advisor, and the investments I am showing you today are what I'm doing for my friends and family's accounts. And I am not affiliated with CNBC or any of its affiliates, and or any of the websites used to determine these rankings. And I currently own shares of Chevron, Agriculture, Commodities, General Electric, IBM, Mosaic, Morgan Stanley, Quest, S&P 500, and natural gas. So again, this is Brian Mckeon from the JMB FLP saying thank you and see you next time.